I asked a bunch of my friends what they would miss most if they gave up gluten, and here's what they said.
Bread.
Back when I first started eating gluten-free, the bread choices were pretty slim. You had that bread that was the texture of kitchen sponges, or that bread that pretty much disintegrated the second you bit into it. Yum. But now the opposite is true. Depending on where you shop, you might have more gluten-free options than you know what to do with. And on top of that, the challenge now is actually finding a decent loaf out of all of these options. Now let's just cut to the chase. Let's start with the best all-round loaf, the loaf that's good for all sorts of different things. Now, I didn't say it's my favorite though, so make sure you stick around for that. So if you're looking for just a solid loaf of sandwich-style, pre-sliced bread that's good for pretty much anything, hop in the car, head to the grocery store. You can find it so many different places, and I promise you are not going to regret it. Any loaf you've grabbed, and they've got a ton of variety, is gonna rock your socks off. And I'm actually a little jealous that you have this option and that it's so easy to find. I mean, I'm at Target for goodness sake. We didn't have this back in the day. It toasts really well, which is something that can't be said for a lot of gluten-free breads, and it's super sturdy, so you can pack on sandwich toppings and it's not gonna fall apart like a lot of other gluten-free breads out there. That's a good sandwich. Something else that I really love is that this bread is also made from clean ingredients, so no weird things like monocalcium phosphate in this bread. I recommend their Heritage Loaf the most because the slices are actually large enough to make a real sandwich with. Does anybody know why gluten-free bread manufacturers seem to think we all want to eat tiny Hobbit sandwiches?
We can't eat Hobbit food!
The trade-off for all of this fluffy deliciousness? Depending on what loaf you grab, one slice can be as much as double the calories of a regular slice of non-gluten-free bread. So that 250-calorie sandwich you might have had is gonna be more like 500 calories. Luckily, I found a very delicious alternative. Meet Carbonaut, the bread for calorie counters, keto enthusiasts, and lovers of Wonder Bread. Warning, the following product is incredibly addictive. Proceed with caution. This bread is more often than not my go-to for a couple of reasons. First, it feels like I'm being really bad when I eat it. It's super soft like Wonder Bread. You know, it has that chewy, really cheap white bread texture that you love to have your PB&Js on. And I've never found that in any other gluten-free bread. And you know, for me, my mom never kept white bread in the house when I was a kid, so it feels extra decadent in this case. The second is that it's only 40 calories per slice. And although keto's not my thing, it's only 1 net carb per slice too.
Not true. That's impossible!
So why isn't this bread on the top of my list? Well, it makes some of my least favorite toast, and it can be kind of difficult to find if you're not close to some place like a Sprouts or a Whole Foods. But if amazing toast is what you're looking for, have I got the bread for you. Let me introduce you to my #1 favorite gluten-free bread of all time, and I am not exaggerating. Meet Kim and Jake's gluten-free peasant loaf made right here in Boulder, Colorado. So you're probably not going to find it at your local store, but you can buy it online, and I absolutely recommend that you do that immediately after this video is over with the link I'm adding down in the description. Finally, a gluten-free, artisan-style bread. It's crusty on the outside, chewy on the inside, it's great sliced right off the loaf, it's great toasted with butter. There are directions for reheating on the back, but since it's for the whole loaf, I typically just slice off what I want and heat it up as needed. And here's a quick toasting tip for any gluten-free bread you're working with. First of all, keep it in the fridge, unless you're saving it for later, then keep it in the freezer. And before you pop it in the toaster, heat it up in the microwave for about 30 seconds or maybe 40 seconds to a minute if it's frozen. And this is gonna make sure that your bread doesn't dry out in the toaster. It makes a night and day difference between a dry piece of toast and a chewy, delicious piece of toast. So this peasant loaf by Kim and Jake's is my pick for the best bread when you just want to feel fancy and you want to treat yourself. Up until recently, something like this really wasn't an option unless you were lucky enough to find some mom and pop bakery who specialized in that kind of thing. And if you're looking for even more delicious gluten-free fare and tips, check out this video next. Also, remember to check out all of the links to pick up this stuff down in the description. And let me know down in the comments if there are any breads you think I should try next, because I love bread. I want to try all the bread. So, yeah. I'll see you in the next one.